Hey guys, what is going on? It is Crypto Bobby. Hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you might be watching in from. And wanted to pop in this evening for a quick crypto happy hour to talk about what's been going on in the past day or so, because it has been a crazy, crazy day in the marketplace with so many cryptos just going absolutely through the roof. So I know this wasn't necessarily a planned crypto happy hour, but hopefully you guys can forgive me for that one, and we can have a nice little chance to talk about what is going on in the crypto world. What is up, Omar, Chris, Steve, Rossi, Essential, Nadir, Shady Cats, P Squared, Mike? What's going on? What's going on? What is up, Steve? Litecoin for the win. Yeah, Litecoin has been winning and winning real hard. And let's not forget Ethereum making a big move. Ripple coming back from the dead a little bit after just getting its butt kicked by Bitcoin for a long, long time. A number of cryptos really making very, very nice movements on here on On-Chain FX right now. Out of the top, with On-Chain FX, they only have about 60 or so crypto. Out of the 60, 53 are in the green today. So if you're losing money today, that hurts, because it's been pretty damn impossible to lose money. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to join. And again, sorry that there wasn't too much of a warning about this video, but figured I'd pop here about 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight. Coming back from Vegas this weekend and having a long work day, long work week coming up prior to the holidays. Going crazy with a little bit of that Poland Spring IPA. But hopefully you guys are drinking something nice, whether that might be, hopefully that might be, maybe that's wine, maybe that's whiskey, maybe that's beer. But tonight, for me, it's water, so hopefully you guys are having a good one. Holding long, loving LTC, Litecoin 1,000. What you drinking? Yeah, it's water, baby. I'm a crypto jinx. Sorry, Fistnick. You should probably live somewhere where it's not 2 a.m. That's the simple solution to your problem, my man. Awesome. Well, let's hop into it. I know we got a number of people here on the line right now. So again, thank you guys so much for taking the time. Hopefully you have been having a good day in the crypto world. And I will try to, as always, take as many questions as I possibly can. But if there's something you absolutely must have answered, throw it into Super Chat, and I will definitely get to it. If not, just try to answer, I'll try to get to that as much as possible. But if you absolutely must have an answer, throw it in a Super Chat, and I definitely will get to that. So let's hop into it. Taking a look at some of these questions, and I would think, one of the big things, and I'm seeing it all over the place right now in the comments, and it's funny because last week it was IOTA, this week it is Litecoin. And it seems like every week there's a big pump in the crypto space. So every week there is one crypto or another crypto that just absolutely crushes it. Everybody gets behind, everybody gets pumped up about it. This week, it is none other than Charlie Lee's Litecoin. And Litecoin in the past week, we'll take a look at it. So in a 1 week time frame, we got our friends at Litecoin up a solid about 260%. At one point in time, Litecoin pumped all the way up to 420. And that was at 319%, but right now we're settling down at about a 260% move on the week, which is absolutely nuts. And I know there's a lot of people that have been long-term believers in Litecoin, so if you've held on to Litecoin, if you've enjoyed that, good on you. Personally, I bought just at the start of the pump. I bought it about 100, and then I bought it about 117. I bought in this big green, this big kind of volume spike back here you saw down here. That was one of the areas I bought into at about 117, made the move, and was super pumped about that. Leonardo the Great, thank you very much. Appreciate that super chat. That's very kind of you. Yeah, 60,000 subs is nuts. Thank you for anybody who's a subscriber. I really do appreciate that. Really mind-blowing on my end that there are 60,000 people out there that give half a rat's butt about what I have to say about anything, let alone crypto, which I'm pretty passionate about and really enjoy. So looking forward to hopefully the next 60,000. We'll have to see. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you for that. For the kind words there. Bought some Litecoin at $27 some time ago. Congrats on that, Topher. You're up. You're up over a cool 10x. Taking a look at some more of these questions here. I think it will be a correction to 200. That's certainly possible. I mean, the crazy thing about crypto right now is everybody's been talking about a correction is coming, a correction is coming, a correction is coming. The British are coming, the British are coming, the British are coming. And the correction hasn't come yet. Now, that doesn't mean that it won't come in the future, but the correction just hasn't come in time. It hasn't made a move yet. And it has been pretty much for the most part for the past couple of months a straight ride, an elevator ride up to the top, an elevator ride really all the way to to the sky. So it's been pretty crazy to see. That doesn't mean that a correction won't happen though. So if a correction does happen, I think the big thing is, do you have a plan in place to successfully guard yourself from a correction, or are you fine if there is a correction? Is that an opportunity for you to buy more? That's something that you want to keep in mind. Yeah, somebody said Mike Novogratz opening up his fund at the end of the week. He was on CNBC this evening, I believe. Good commentary as always from Mike. I liked how he kind of admitted, and personally, I wasn't really super big on Litecoin prior to this. I wasn't one of the huge believers that was accumulating at $50 or $75 or $80. And there were a lot of believers out there. So to you guys, congratulations on that. Big time news. So XRB is, thank you for that super chat, Kyle. I appreciate that, my man. XRB is more functional than IOTA already and isn't on any major exchanges. $10 target. It's only 10% of IOTA. Solium.io has it as a top 10 currency. So I can pull that up here. And we'll take a look. There's, so I've gotten a few different questions about RaiBlocks a little bit. Up 30% on the day. Obviously a nice move. And I feel like somebody asked me about RaiBlocks pretty recently, and that has absolutely crushed it. So I didn't make a move in RaiBlocks. If you got into it, congrats on that. But I feel like this might have been mentioned in the last super chat, and it is up how much in the past 7 days? From 40 cents all the way up to $1.65. So about 4x in the past 7 days, which is nuts. Again, I probably need to dive into RaiBlocks a little bit harder and get a better feel for kind of what it's all about before I give too much of a definitive answer as far as, hey, this is going to be better than XR, this is going to be better than IOTA, or it's not going to be better than IOTA or anything like that. But it's always, to be pretty frank, it's always pretty interesting about, and good call on this, Kyle, and I hope you were in on it. But it's always pretty crazy. I don't remember who was the last person who asked me about RaiBlocks previously, but I do believe this was a super chat maybe in the last week or so, up 400% in the last week. So it's always crazy. I remember a lot of you guys were asking about IOTA before that made a big spike. A lot of people before Altcoin made the big spike, a lot of people are asking about that in the comments. So it seems like you guys are doing a lot of work in terms of just due diligence in general, which is pretty awesome to see. And I'm happy to see that you guys really doing nailing some of these calls, which is great. So I haven't gotten a chance to see anything about that tax cut, but we'll see. I haven't gotten too in depth on that. So interestingly enough, too, and I'll pull this one up. We can take a look at this while you guys are asking some questions here. So I'm going to pop over to Twitter. If you guys aren't following me yet, feel free to do so. I'll throw that into the super chat, or I'll throw that into the chat here. If you guys aren't following me on Twitter yet, but one interesting thing, who knows if it really means all that much, but one interesting thing here that happened this afternoon, is David Marcus, who actually runs Facebook Messenger. He's pretty high up within Facebook, but David Marcus, who runs Facebook Messenger, has just joined the board of CoinBase, and I'm sure that's going to spark a lot of rumors in regards to maybe Facebook integrating with, Bitcoin in some manner or another. So we'll have to see if that ends up ever happening at some point in time. But David Marcus, who was previously the president of PayPal, now is the VP of messaging products at Facebook. So he's the top guy in regards to messaging at Facebook. You want to take a look at that. Maybe something worth considering. Who knows if it really matters long term, if that's, if if Coinbase integrates something with Facebook Messenger, it might not just be Bitcoin, it might be Litecoin, it might also be Ethereum. Who knows what happens? But this is something that I think is really interesting to see. Good on Coinbase. I know Coinbase has obviously had a lot of issues that that a lot of us have joked around with in regards to just the website crashing and things like that. But I talked about it in the conference at Vegas, where I do think for the most part they definitely have a lot of things to straighten out. But Coinbase does do a tremendous service in terms of bringing newbies into the marketplace. And if you have been around crypto for a while, if you haven't been around crypto for a while, you need new people to come in and buy your bags. What is the best way to purchase Ripple? I mean, if you want to purchase anything personally, if you want to, I'm not a big Ripple guy. Other people are. But if you are looking to purchase anything, the simplest solution every single time is to go to CoinMarketCap, click on that cryptocurrency, click on the markets, and go to markets, and that will tell you every exchange that it trades on as well as the pairing. So if you're in the U.S., typically the easiest place to do that would be XRP, and would usually be on either Bittrex or Poloniex. So Bobby Boucher, what's going on, my man? Appreciate that. Siren Labs ICO raised $95 million in 12 hours already. 14-day crowd sale, messing backing it, may dump when listed on exchange. So I haven't seen, maybe I'm blind or just haven't paid too much attention to this. So Siren Labs ICO, crypto rated. What do we got here? So wow, that's a lot of money. $94 million. That is a big boy. That's a big boy take of big boy take of money. I'm going to be pretty frank with you. I haven't even heard of these guys yet. I'm not sure kind of what type of products they're doing, but the fact that they raised $93 million in less than a day is pretty crazy, pretty outrageous. I guess good on them, but I need to do a little bit more. Need to do a little bit more research to see kind of exactly what this is. It looks like, I guess, some type of smartphone just on initial glance, but you guys probably know more about it than I do. So, but the fact that they've raised this much money, I don't know if it's a hard capped ICO, if it's an uncapped ICO. Couldn't really tell you, but good call and an interesting thing to bring up for sure. And Rupesh, appreciate that super chat as well, my man. Thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. So taking a look here at some of these Electroneum. A lot of people have asked about that. I believe they are finally releasing. So I have not been personally, if I'm being real honest with you guys, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to get pissed off, but I haven't been a big fan of Electroneum. Just haven't. I think that they shouldn't have raised $40 million without being able to launch on day one. But I believe they are in the process of relaunching. So, if they can maybe pull that off, then good on them. So hopefully they took in $40 million from investors. That's now probably worth about $80 million with what the market's doing. So I am not going to, I'm not going to sit here and rip Electroneum to shreds right now because that would be a little bit preemptive. But we'll see what happens. Good luck if you put your money into it. I'm quite frankly a little bit curious to see. So I don't know with Electroneum, I don't know if any ICO investors will finally have their money kind of basically have access to their money again. But Electroneum is kind of shot through the roof again. So we'll have to see what ends up happening, but I wouldn't doubt a little bit of maybe a sell-off if people start taking profits depending upon what they got into the ICO at. So I'll reserve judgment again too. I wasn't happy with how they dealt with things, but I'll reserve judgment until I see the relaunch. I'll give them that shot, and if they can hopefully pull that off, that'll be good on them. Cody Martin, what alt has the best chance to be added to Coinbase? I mean, I think that is Electroneum is working with HackerOne. Yeah, that's an outsourcing firm. I don't think that's, to be pretty frank, and I don't want to crap on them because I think they needed some security help, but they hiring an outsourced security firm I don't think is necessarily like the biggest value proposition in the world. I don't think you should point to that and be like, well, they're a buy right now because they hired HackerOne. A lot of companies use HackerOne, but that's not like you're not buying Uber pre-ICO stock because Uber buys HackerOne. Uber uses HackerOne and they got hacked. So, but you don't use Coinbase simply because they use HackerOne. I don't know. is what it is. I just don't think that's I don't think, you know, them hiring HackerOne is personally a reason that you would ever buy Electroneum. If there's other reasons that you want to buy it, good for you. Absolutely buy it. But I don't think that, you know, the fact that they worked with HackerOne is like a selling point in any regards. But getting back to the question, what alt has the best what alt has the best chance to be added to Coinbase? So some people have talked about XRP, Ripple being one to get added to Coinbase. It is a large, definitely a large crypto out there. Coinbase is, in my opinion, Coinbase is going to add a crypto that they know is not a security. They're not going to add they're not going to add anything that has any potential of potentially being a security. So that's certainly an issue. They want to make sure that whatever they add is not a security. That's going to be something that you want to check out. So anything that could potentially be a security, any, kind of so-so utility token, you want to keep out with that. I think Bitcoin Cash, since you are going to get access if you had Bitcoin on Coinbase back when they had the Bitcoin Cash split, I believe they are crediting folks with Bitcoin Cash. So I believe they are crediting folks with Bitcoin Cash, but that'll be something to keep in mind. Bitcoin Cash potentially being another one. There could be a variety, but anybody trying to take a guess at which one is the next one that gets added to Coinbase, I wouldn't solely invest in a crypto because you hear it might get added to Coinbase or because you think it might get added to Coinbase. I would invest on fundamentals or put your money in based on fundamentals, not necessarily on that. So taking a look here, Coinbase own coin. Why is 10x backpedaling on paying out rewards? I haven't seen anything specifically in regards to that. And maybe that is the case, but and to be frank, I have no idea specifically what in regards to 10x paying out rewards. I know they had some specific models initially where they were going to be paying out rewards to certain people and maybe not paying out rewards to other people. But the one thing I would say to that is, anybody that promises, whatever the company is that promises some level of, whether it's a return on investment or if it's rewards or if it's cash back, a lot of these companies are brand new. They have, they're kind of guessing as far as they're basically just straight up guessing as far as what's going to be profitable, what's going to be good. And, you're not, when you put your money in any of these cryptos, you're not signing a contract. It's not stock. There is no board of advisors. There is no, there is no shareholder vote. You're putting your money in and, they're kind of doing with it what they want to do with it. So if anybody wants to change anything, then in a lot of cases, too bad. What do you think of Salt? A couple different people have asked about that. I'm not massively in on Salt. I know their ICO, I think, rubbed a couple people the wrong way. I know personally that they gave some pretty big discounts to initial people in the ICO, but they've performed well over the past. They performed well over the past month or so. Very well over the past month. So depending upon where you got into Salt, you might love it, you might hate it. But they have a good team. Eric Voorhees is, has always been a pretty big figure in the crypto space. So, I don't have any money in Salt. It's one of those things where I think in a lot of cases it's one of those things where I don't personally have any Salt right now, but I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to buying it in the future. Do I own any Bcash right now? Why or why not? No, personally, I do not own any Bitcoin Cash, Bcash, whatever you want to call it. I just don't see the need to buy it right now. It outperformed Bitcoin over some durations of time, over some periods of time, but at this point, I think that for right now, I'm just more comfortable owning Bitcoin than I am Bitcoin Cash. I do think that if you really are very much afraid, or you very much believe that Bitcoin Cash is going to, if this guy right here, our man's Roger Ver, if you think that he is going to overtake Bitcoin, if you think that he is going to be, the Bitcoin Cash is going to be the next Bitcoin, then you can put in an equal amount of Bitcoin Cash to Bitcoin, or you can put more. So A couple different questions here. And again, I will try to answer as many questions as I possibly can. But if you need something, you absolutely must have an answer, throw it in the super chat, and I will definitely get to that. So thoughts on Bloom or just blah? I put money into the Bloom ICO. The Ethereum I put into that Bloom ICO was up about 2x, and that is now in the Bloom ICO. So I'm hoping at the very minimum that the Bloom token can keep up with the ETH pairing. Otherwise, you've lost money if you participated in Bloom or any other ICOs. But I'm excited about Bloom personally. I think they have a good team, so I'm happy to have put some money into that. And I'm hoping that they, at the minimum, can keep pace with the movement, or the tokens when they do launch can keep pace with the movement of Ethereum. On the other end of the spectrum, looking at some of the other questions here. So thoughts about the Charlie Lee tweets. I know a lot of people get mad about a lot of people, and I think it's kind of ridiculous to be pretty frank with you guys, but a lot of people get mad at Charlie Lee for voicing his opinion. And, you know, somebody was like, it's a good, I forget what somebody said about the CEO. It's a good thing he was there. You know, it's a good thing that X other cryptocurrency CEO doesn't say that, or the CEO of Google doesn't say that about something. And, you know, Charlie Lee is not the CEO of Litecoin. He was the creator of it. He's pretty much the founder, but doesn't mean that he's the CEO of Litecoin and has to represent it in any specific way whatsoever. So I think that, to be pretty frank, Charlie Lee can say whatever he wants. And just because Charlie and anybody, and this is a trend that I see in crypto all the time now, but if anybody says anything that isn't absolutely bullish and isn't like, we're going to the moon, we're going to the moon. If anybody doesn't say that, people just rip them to shreds and complain and whine and cry. And, you know, maybe you might not go to, you know, maybe you might not go to the moon. Maybe there is going to be a pullback. But just because somebody's voicing that doesn't mean you have to yell at them and say FUD, 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 or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure everybody wants it to go up and up and up forever. But in reality, that's not going to happen. And just because you don't like to hear about it, just because it's not exactly what you want to hear about, then don't cry about it. If, you know, Charlie Lee or everybody else, Damien, his 4-year bear market prediction was weird. I mean, there was basically a 2 to 3 year bear market previously with crypto. So, you know, I think that's pretty much the truth. Thoughts and prediction for Litecoin in 2018. Litecoin 2018. Moon. No. So Litecoin 2018 should be interesting. I think a lot of it depends upon how Bitcoin can figure out scaling, because I think a lot of the value that is stemmed from Litecoin right now is Bitcoin's issues that are happening with the scaling issue. You know, basically Bitcoin scaling issues. If Bitcoin was super fast, if Bitcoin was super cheap, there really wouldn't be a need for Litecoin. But right now, Bitcoin isn't very fast. It's not very cheap, and it's a really good store of value. On the other hand, Litecoin is really fast, really cheap, and is kind of fulfilling, in some cases, you know, the whole Bitcoin Cash deal of a transactional currency. That's Litecoin in a lot of cases. You know, you can think about Bitcoin Cash, or you can think about Litecoin. And the thing is, Litecoin, I think a lot of people are a little bit more favorable to Litecoin because Litecoin isn't advertising itself as the next Bitcoin Cash. They're just saying, hey, the next Bitcoin. They're just saying, hey, you know, we're the silver to Bitcoin's gold. We're the fast way to move your money around. And, you know, if Bitcoin is having some issues with transaction scalability, if you want to own a couple more things, we got you. So definitely something to consider. So I think I might have missed a, there we go. That was a super chat. Thoughts on Pascal and Ethos. So Ethos, I believe, formerly Ubic, was Ethos has been one of the rare ones that has not performed very well, especially in comparison to ETH or Bitcoin over the past kind of couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so. No, I'm hesitant to say from Ethos, from Ubic, whatever it might be. There are a lot of cryptos out there that are now the people's crypto, whether it's Vertcoin, whether it's Litecoin, well, not necessarily really Litecoin, but whether it's Vertcoin, whether it's Electroneum, whether it's Ethos. There's a lot of crypto out there that now is, hey, we're the people's crypto. We are, you know, the most accessible crypto. We're the easiest crypto to use, all this stuff. You know, until you really are the people's crypto, you got to become the people's crypto. So if you invented Facebook, you would have invented Facebook. Yeah, I mean, so they've actually reached out to me a bit. I haven't really had a chance to speak with these guys at all, but the guys at Ethos have reached out to me a little bit to talk and learn more. I think I even have a chance to interview the founder. I haven't taken them up on that, but maybe I might in the future if you guys have any interest in that. But yeah, they've been one of the companies that's reached out to me a little bit, and I need to do a little bit more due diligence into Ethos to see if it's really worth the time, worth the analysis. But it's something that I could do a little bit more work on as far as really seeing if there is I'm thinking of the wrong thing, but yeah, Bitcoins. That is Ethos. Bitcoins was renamed Ethos, but appreciate the correction there. There's so many cryptos out there, so many ICOs that it just gets confusing. And this is a face that is staring into the abyss at me right now, and it's like peering into my soul, and I don't know if I like it or not. So taking a look at some of these questions here. Any advice for a beginner? What type of advice are you looking for? Demont Skate. Let me know what type of, let me know what you're thinking about in regards to advice, and happy to answer that. Why did I sell Chainlink? Chainlink took a dive when the market went down pretty heavily. So I just cut some losses there. I was basically broke even. I like Chainlink. I think there's a good usage for it. But I've been waiting. It's been, for the most part, prior to these past couple of days, I mean, Bitcoin has really led the charge, so it's been better off in a lot of respects to have and hold Bitcoin. So I sold my Chainlink to buy back into Bitcoin, and that was a good move until recently when, Litecoin doubled, tripled, quadrupled. Ethereum made a big move. What do you think about Sidecoin? So Bennett, actually, let's pop over here. I'll pull it up in the 1 day. If you wanna see a great way to lose, so this is 3-day candles, but Sidecoin has been a fantastic way since mid-June to just throw Bitcoin away. So I am not, until Sidecoin makes any type of legitimate bounce back, but we can just say from the high top candles here, Sidecoin has lost 90% of its value to Bitcoin. So even if it's maybe in somewhat of a similar, even if it's gone up US dollar wise, Sidecoin has gotten crushed by Bitcoin. And we could take a look at Ethereum too. Sidecoin against Ethereum. Even against Ethereum, it's gotten murdered pretty hard too. So I am not, until Sidecoin shows me something that I can kind of get back, that type of chart just scares the living bejesus out of me personally, Bennett. But yeah, down 90%. Imagine, so if you bought Sidecoin, if you held on to Sidecoin, imagine buying 10 Bitcoin worth of Sidecoin back in mid-June, buying 10 Bitcoin, and now that 10 Bitcoin is now worth 1 Bitcoin. That's basically what has happened. So if you just held on to that 10 Bitcoin, that would have been worth 150 grand. Now that 10 Bitcoin that you invested is worth about 18 grand. It's a shitty trade. That is rough. Where do I store altcoins? So I personally use my Ledger Nano S. That is definitely one big thing. Michael Merritt, appreciate the question there. Do I expect Cardano to pump again? I personally do. I am big on Cardano. I'm going to continue to dollar cost average my way into Cardano. I know a lot of my friends are kind of doing the same thing. I'm a big fan of Cardano, even if it's not pumping like crazy right now, even if it's not keeping pace with some of the other crypto out there. In my opinion, now is kind of the time to buy in now that it's settled down a little bit. And I see no reason why Cardano can't become right now it's about $3.5 billion. I see absolutely no reason why Cardano would not be more valuable than IOTA, maybe Ripple, maybe even Litecoin. I could see it. I could absolutely see Cardano over $10 billion in value. I think they have the team in place. I think they have the technology in place. I think they have the vision in place to get it done. So I'm going to continue to dollar cost average my way in, because if they go to potentially the valuation of what IOTA is right now, you're talking about a 4x return. And that would be something that, with the amount of money I have in Cardano now, that would be a big time move. And again, I've talked a little bit about it previously. Who knows when this will happen, if it'll happen, whatever. But this was one of my big kind of theses behind investing in it previously. But Cardano is primarily from what I know, from the understanding that I have, Cardano was initially sold basically the ICO, or not necessarily the initial coin offering, but the initial investment in Cardano was sold to basically the Japanese to Korean investors, to investors in Asia, most of whom were traditional older school investors. Those investors have a very much long scale tendency to buy and hold for long-term investing. And even though the majority of the initial investment was based out of Asia, based out of Japan, based out of Korea, the primary place of trading Cardano right now is on Bittrex and Binance. So there isn't really, Bittrex is the biggest place for volume right now. Binance in about 50% of that. So I think that for me personally right now, when Bittrex does get added to one of the major exchanges based out of Asia, you might see a really significant pop, in addition to whenever it might get added, basically whenever it might continue to develop from a technical standpoint, which I know that they are working on doing. Charles Hoskinson is a really strong mind in the industry, so I'm excited about that. I wonder when Amazon will start accepting crypto. Personally, I see I might be in the minority here, but I don't see a huge reason why Amazon would be accepting crypto right off the bat or right now. I know there's a lot of rumors for that, but in my opinion, a lot of the rumors have been sourced from people that were trying to generate rumors specifically to pump their own interests and pump their own newsletters. So until I see some legitimate rumors from somebody in regards to Amazon accepting crypto, I see no reason why they wouldn't just continue to accept credit cards like they have done and make and print billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. So that's just me. But yeah. Sir Rai Winchester, what's going on, my man? Always good to see you here. What are your thoughts on XLM as compared to XRM? So Stellar Lumens versus, what do we have? XRM. Maybe I think you mean XRP perhaps. So I think that might be the question there, Mr. Sir Rai Winchester. So I hope I hope that's kind of what you're talking about there a little bit. But for me, I think I might have a little bit more interest in Stellar than I do might have a little bit more interest in Stellar personally than I do in Ripple. But I'm not in either of them for the time being. I need to do a little bit more due diligence on Stellar into the technology itself. Ripple for me is a little bit kind of against the grain in terms of crypto in general. So it's a little bit more corporate, actually a lot more corporate. If you ever see Ripple on TV, the CEO of Ripple is wearing a suit and tie, and then you see somebody from Ethereum or you see somebody from Consensus and they're wearing a t-shirt and jeans. And Ripple is very friendly with regulators, which is good. They hired a number of things there. They hired Ben Losky joined the board, which I know a lot of people don't love. Ben Losky was the one who helped to engineer the New York bit license. So that was something that a lot of people don't love now. But yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. I need to do a little bit more research on Stellar Lumens to see how it competes with Ripple. Ripple's obviously having a big day right now. XRP has, but still, when you're looking at Ripple in comparison to Bitcoin in the past, let's say 3 months, while it's had a really nice bounce down here, Ripple has still been much better to hold on to Bitcoin in the past 3 months. In the past year, Ripple had that massive spike back up in mid-May, in June, but has kind of almost come back down to where it was previously. So Ripple is up quite a bit on a US dollar perspective, but it is still kind of not that high up above maybe where you would have been if you just held Bitcoin back in the day. We can take a look here real quick. So it's about, if you held Ripple very early on in 2017, you're probably up about 200% from a Bitcoin trading pairing. But if you bought Ripple back in basically anywhere after June, you're down quite a bit from a Bitcoin trading pairing. So it's also something to to consider there as well. So taking a look at some of these questions here, and again, guys, I will try to get to as many of them as possible. And Granada, thank you for that super chat. But if you absolutely must have something answered, throw it in the super chat. I definitely will get to that. But if if you can't throw it in the super chat, I will try to get to as many questions as I possibly can. So going through some of these bad boys here. Dumontscape, appreciate the question again, man. Advice on starting and how much to buy. So, I mean, that is a question. Nathan, I think I mentioned that. I'm not sure if you heard before, but I did say that I am still excited about Bloom, but I'm hoping that it can keep pace. It can keep pace with the growth of Ethereum, because if it doesn't keep that same pairing that it went into with Ethereum, then you basically lost money by putting money into Bloom for the time being. So we'll see what goes on like that. Itching to send a super chat asking how you keep your hair like that. It's called pomade, brother. Doesn't come naturally. So much effort, so much work. I'm kidding. It takes 2 minutes in the morning. So real quick, the one question, I'm sure some of you guys might care about it, maybe some of you don't, but I think advice on starting, how much to buy. I mean, I think one of the big things too is, when you're looking to potentially get started in crypto, depending upon the size of your portfolio, and this is just generally speaking, I think putting something like, on a very conservative basis, putting something like maybe 5% of your total investable assets into crypto is pretty smart. If you are younger, if you're more aggressive, if you're super jacked up about this stuff, if you know what you're doing, you can maybe put 10% plus into it. And that's investable assets. If you want to rebalance, if Bitcoin goes up quite a bit, then that's something to definitely be considered. But I think that, just for example, if you have $100,000 in the stock market and in investable assets, and you want to put $5,000, $10,000 into crypto, I think that's probably not the worst idea. It's when people maybe have $100,000 of investable assets and put in $75,000 into crypto. In the past couple months, that's worked out well, but it might not work out well tomorrow, and you have to keep that in mind for sure. So first-time investments, wait for dips, crash, invest, or invest now and hope for continued rise. I think that personally, in my mind, and I've said this before, I'll definitely say it again, but in my mind, a lot of people have said, "Hey, I'm going to wait for this to crash. I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to pull back. I'm going to wait for it to pull back. I'm going to wait for the dip." And let's pull this bad boy up and see when that dip has come in the past 3 months. Unless you're kind of zooming out pretty hard, but there really hasn't been much of a dip, which is why I typically which is why I typically say and typically recommend to dollar cost average 50% in or something like that. Put about 50% in initially, and the other 50% of money that you have available, keep that in reserve in case the Bitcoin goes down. In case crypto goes down, then you could buy it lower and you could buy it for a dollar cost average. Worst case scenario, it either stays the same, maybe it trades sideways for a while and you just buy back at the same price and you limit your exposure, or on the other end of the spectrum, if it goes up, then you made money and you just have a higher dollar cost average, unfortunately, but you reduced a lot of your exposure there. So looking at some of these questions here. Best site for starting an account for me, I recommend either Coinbase or Gemini. Those are typically the first two places that you'll be able to get, depending upon your location. I don't know if you're in the U.S. or wherever you might be, but typically Coinbase and Gemini are the two easiest places to get your money into crypto. And then from there, I recommend Binance. If you guys ever need anything at all, just in regards to, let me see if I can pull this up. the tools, the resources that I use. So just try and pull this up for you guys. Actually, so I'll include a link to the video. So here we go. Okay. In the YouTube chat, if you guys want to check out tools there, you can definitely do that. Pedro Santos, thank you very much for that super chat. That is extremely, extremely kind of you. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, definitely let me know, my man. That is extremely kind of you, and I certainly appreciate that. So thank you for that. Why do you always look so red on your thumbnails? Do you hate color correction, grading settings in Photoshop? Yeah, I don't know crap about Photoshop, but I'm also red-green colorblind, so I might look super red, but to me, I literally don't know how I look, so red-green colorblind, I'll blame it on that, and we'll go from there. I mean, a lot of the resources I'm talking about are in regards to the U.S., but also, there's also some other ones out there as well, so... they're not necessarily only in regards to the U.S. Why do I like Binance? I think Binance is pretty legit right now, actually. So let me pop into this bad boy. See, I don't know if I'm still logged in. I am logged in. I dig Binance because, for the most part, they have a lot of crypto you can trade on. They have Bitcoin trading, ETH pairings, and I don't really play around too much with dollar tether, quite frankly, but they have some pretty good Bitcoin, some pretty good ETH trading pairings, but they have a lot on it. They have Cardano, they have AirSwap, they have big crypto, Bitcoin Gold. They have a pretty good selection in terms of the number of crypto. Not only that, but they have limit orders, they have market orders, and now they also have stop limit orders as well. So they have some pretty good things within Binance that I like, and they also have this kind of more advanced exchange as well. So Binance, I think, has been pretty legit. I've been happy with it as far as how you can use it. I haven't had any problems with it yet at all, and it's been pretty solid so far. I'm actually, in some cases too, I'm almost even leaning on it. So number one, which is pretty cool, is there's no ID verification with Binance up to, I think, 2 Bitcoin daily withdrawal or something like that. So you can withdraw up to like 30 grand a day without needing any type of ID verification, without having to put in your passport, your ID, your freaking real name, anything, which is pretty freaking sweet. So couple nice things that go on there. Red-green colorblind must suck for charting. Haha. Yeah. I know I can see most red-green, like this is red, this is green. I can see red-green when I'm at a stoplight, but yeah, if you put one of these, so I can see this bad boy is 5. I can pretty clearly see that, but I can't see a number there. So when you guys make fun of poor Rob, when you make fun of poor Crypto Bobby because his thumbnails are red, just keep in mind that if there is a number there, I literally can't see it. So, and I didn't find out I was colorblind until I went to the the military testing station when I was going to officer candidate school with the Marines, and they were like, "Yo, dude, you can't be a pilot because you can't see freaking colors." And I was like, "Well, that's the news to me." So, there we go, fellas and females. So somebody just asked for the referral link for Binance. If you want that bad boy, I believe it's simply cryptobobby.com/. So if you want the referral link for Binance, it's just cryptobobby.com/Binance, and that'll get you set up and all good to go. I think you might get a little bit of percentage off of some fees there. So that should keep things rolling for you. There you go. There's the link. Hopefully it works. If not, it's all Gucci. So a couple different people. Wow, there we go. So Ethereum, over the past 3 days, ETH is up from 470 or so up to, at one point in time, up to over $720. Right now up to 684. So still a big time movement, up 40%, but at one point in time was up over 50%, which is pretty gosh darn impressive. Although when you take into consideration how Litecoin is done, not anywhere near. It's been certainly better to have that, or better to have Litecoin in the past. But I have a decent sized Ethereum holding, so I've been happy to see that roll out. Chris, I appreciate that. Happy to make you laugh, my man. And again, Pedro, thank you for that super chat. That was really, really awesome of you. Very, very kind. USD and Bitfinex is bad juju. Yeah, there's a lot of people that think that the whole dollar tether Bitfinex thing is bad news. Bitfinex does not allow U.S. traders at all anymore. So numero uno, I can't trade on I can't really trade on Bitfinex if I wanted to. But the whole dollar tether thing, I think, there's a lot of shady stuff going on there. So I'm hoping that if anything is shady going on there, it doesn't end up crashing the market. That's my hope. I don't have any money in Tether. I don't have any desire to utilize Tether. Crypto to crypto gets taxed basically the same as how moving money in and out of GDAX does. So I don't. Didon, how do you send a super chat? To be honest, I don't know off the top of my head. Taking a look here, dollar cost average into both Bitcoin and Litecoin. I don't think that's I think dollar cost averaging is always a good move. That's pretty much what I do on a daily basis. What do I think about Civic, CVC? I like Civic. I like Vinny Lingham. I got in on the ICO, but I recently, it's been losing steam pretty hard in comparison to really ever since mid-September. It's been losing steam real hard to Bitcoin. So I finally exited my Civic position pretty recently and put that into Bitcoin. So ended up still up about 250% from the ICO, but for the time being, I'm gonna hold off just because it's been, in my opinion, better in a lot of respects just to hold on to Bitcoin. So Matthew, ignoring your hatred of the ICO, how do you feel about EOS now and in 2018 as a moneymaker? I need to do technically speaking, a little bit more diligence on if and when EOS can beat Ethereum or beat some of the other platforms. And that's really what I need to do. I know a lot of people like EOS. For me personally, if I'm going to invest in like a platform alternative to Ethereum or another platform, I like Cardano over EOS. That's just me. But I would rather put my money in Cardano than I would in EOS right now, but that doesn't mean you can't make money in EOS. So that's something to do a little bit of diligence on, but I think a lot of it will depend. Somebody asked for a video, so I just put in the comment section there. You should be able to see it shortly, but there's a YouTube link. That's for the tools and resources that I use, my favorites. So everything from taxes and accounting to trading, to exchanges, to software, to whatever. So if you guys ever want to watch that, definitely feel free. Those are all the things that I enjoy to utilize. So the two things from a tax tracking perspective, bitcoin.tax and cointracking.info, which I recommend or I talk about a little bit in those videos, but bitcoin.tax, yeah, Crypto Bobby over the Jets. Yeah, I'm definitely better than the Jets right now. RIP to Josh McCown's hand. Do I trade stocks? No, I don't. I don't trade stocks. I simply just invest. I do the old 401k and I put money into something like Betterment or Wealthfront and go from there. So guys, outside of that though, I just wanted to pop in this evening. I wanted to pop in this evening for a quick YouTube live crypto happy hour, but have a lot of work to get done tomorrow. So I do have to sign off at this point in time. But if you have any questions whatsoever, and I missed them, I am, number one, I apologize for missing those questions. But if you have anything, definitely I'll stay by in the comments section here for a minute or two after we sign off here. I haven't gotten a chance to get the NAC3 video yet, but hopefully I will have that soon. They had some professional videographers there, and that should be, hopefully I'll have that up for you guys in the near future here. But yeah, definitely stick around. I'll be in the comments section. I'll be in the live chat for a minute here to answer any questions. And if you are new to the channel by any chance, hit that subscribe button, the little notify bell next to that. And next time I do go live, you're able to join early, ask as many questions as you like. And again, too, like I said, I'm sorry if I wasn't able to answer anything, but thank you guys so much for your time. Awesome to speak to you. Best of luck in the marketplace right now. And I'll stick by in the chat here for a minute.